ഇപ്പോൾ വ്യാപാരികളുമായുള്ള ചർച്ചയ്ക്ക് ശേഷം അമേരിക്കൻ പ്രസിഡന്റ് ഡൊണാൾഡ് ട്രംപ് മാധ്യമങ്ങളോട് സംസാരിക്കുകയാണ്. തത്സമയ സംപ്രേഷണം.
Military force to win, not a military force to just take care of things in that very, very difficult part of the world. It's a very difficult part, very dangerous part of the world. So let's see what happens. So far, so good. So far, but I'm very impressed with the kind of kudos we're getting. Yes, please.
Mr. President, namaste. I'm Saurabh Shukla. I'm editor-in-chief of News Mobile. If you remember, I interviewed you during your last campaign in New Jersey.
Good.
And I asked you this question earlier at that time about a Trump doctrine on fighting out Islamic fundamentalism, which you spoke about and you discussed with Prime Minister Modi, and you spoke about a Modi-Trump doctrine. So what is your roadmap to fight out Islamic radical terrorism?
Well, I don't think anybody's done more than I have, if you look, because I came in, and if you check your maps and look at Iraq and Syria, it was all over. In fact, they had it painted a certain color. I won't tell you what color because it doesn't matter. Somebody will say it was a Republican color, so I don't want to get people confused. But it happened to be red, and it was basically trying to show where ISIS was in those areas. And it was out of control. And I gave the orders, and we have 100% of the caliphate. We have tens of thousands of people in prisons now. They're being guarded by the Kurds and others. Europe should take a lot of them back. So far they haven't agreed to do that. They should do that because we did them a big favor. We captured them, but I did that. We killed al-Baghdadi a few months ago, and Soleimani is gone. He's no longer putting roadside bombs all over the place. Somebody else may be, but he was the father, the king of the roadside bomb. All of those young people that you see with missing legs and arms. I've seen every combination. The legs are gone. You go over to Walter Reed. I have to say the doctors at Walter Reed are incredible what they're able to do. Incredible. But that's what his thing was. He thought that was a beautiful weapon, roadside bombs. It's a coward's bomb. And all of these young people that have been so badly hurt. And we did a big favor. In addition to that, as you know, Hamza bin Laden is now gone. And he was looking to do damage, and he's gone. And Al-Qaeda last week, you saw what happened there.
Absolutely.
So nobody's done more than what I've done. And but at the same time, Russia should do it, Iran should do it, Iraq should do it, Syria should do it. You know, we're in a different part of the world. We're doing it. Everybody says you're the only ones that can do it. Well, at some point, these other countries, Iran should do it. Iran hates ISIS, and they should do it. And we've done a great job. We've taken our soldiers essentially out of Syria, except for little hot spots that we forget, will do, that develop. But we've taken the oil, and the soldiers we have there are the ones guarding the oil. We have the oil. So that's all we have there. And now we have, if you look, we are down to a small force in Iraq. We're down to a small force very shortly, but right now even we have a small force in Afghanistan. And so we're moving out and moving around. But the only soldiers we have in terms of Syria, the predominant number of soldiers are the ones guarding the oil.
What about terror groups in Pakistan, sir? That's a big concern in this region. And you know there are a lot of terror groups who pose dangers to the United States and democracies like India as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. But you also have other countries that can do this. The United States is 8,000 miles away. And they're all saying, could you do it? Yeah, we could do it. We've been doing it for a long time. But I've been doing it much better than anyone else has done it. I mean, what we've done in the last couple of years has been incredible. We have 100% of the caliphate. Remember, we had 99%. I'd say, good, we're leaving. And I was hit with, people couldn't believe it. They said, do 100. So we did 100. I did 100 with some great generals that knew exactly what they were doing. They were unbelievable. We took 100% of the caliphate. And we have thousands of prisoners right now locked up. And these are ISIS fighters and killed thousands. Not that I want to do that. I don't want to do that. But that's what we had to do. And when I came in, ISIS was all over the place. It was totally out of control. Please. Thank you.
While you've been here in the country, in the capital, northeast part of Delhi, there have been violent clashes. Police have been killed, some demonstrators, 9 deaths so far, we hear, and about 100 plus injured. What did Prime Minister Modi say to you about this amended citizenship law? And how concerned are you about this kind of religious violence?
So we did talk about religious freedom, and I will say that the Prime Minister was incredible on what he told me. He wants people to have religious freedom, and very strongly. And he said that in India they have worked very hard to have great and open religious freedom. And if you look back and look at what's going on relative to other places especially, but they have really worked hard on religious freedom. I asked that question in front of a very large group of people today, and he talked about it. We talked about it for a long time, and I really believe that's what he wants. As far as the individual attack, I heard about it, but I didn't discuss that with him. That's up to India. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Hi, sir. Emily Goodman with thedailymail.com. I was wondering, do you think justice was served in the Harvey Weinstein case?
So I was never a fan of Harvey Weinstein, as you know. In fact, he said he was going to work hard to defeat me in the election. How did that work out, by the way? I'm trying to figure that out. He was a person I didn't like, never liked. I don't know too much about the case because, as you know, I've been over here between traveling and being at meetings almost every hour of the day, every minute of the day. I haven't been able to really see too much of it. But I was just not a fan of his. I knew him a little bit, not very well. I knew him because he was in New York. Not a person that I like. I will say the people that liked him were the Democrats. Michelle Obama loved him. Hillary Clinton loved him. And he gave tremendous money to the Democrats. And I guess my question is, will the Democrats be asking for that money back? Because he gave a lot of money to the Democrats. And, it's too bad, but that's the way it worked out. Yeah, Peter?
I just want to follow up on that very quickly, if I can, Mr. President. Then I have a question that I wanted to ask you. But just on the Harvey Weinstein situation, this is being viewed as a milestone for the Me Too movement. What message can you, as president, deliver to women in America who are still afraid to come forward and share their stories of sexual harassment and assault?
Well, again, I don't know the actual results. I haven't seen too much because I've been in India, as you know.
Aside from
but I think that from the standpoint of women, I think it was a great thing. It was a great victory, and sends a very strong message. Very, very strong message, Peter. Yeah, please.
Can I follow up with my question? I just wanted to follow up on hers quickly. Can I, on coronavirus specifically, Mr. President, in 2014, when the Ebola situation was very concerning to so many Americans, you tweeted, "Ebola patient will be brought to the U.S. in a few days. Now I know for sure that our leaders are incompetent." In all caps, you wrote, "Keep them out of here." More than 20 Americans have now been brought back to the United States with coronavirus. By your own measure, does that mean that your government has been incompetent? Are you pleased with the response?
There's a big difference, in case you don't know, between Ebola and coronavirus. Big difference. It's like day and night. And I felt that we should bring them back. They're Americans. We should bring them back. With Ebola, it's very explosive. It's very terrible. We're making tremendous strides on Eboola with the things that we're doing, as you know.
Isn't some of the money that you're requesting?
Sorry, let me answer the question. But there's a vast difference in bringing, especially in around 14, was that 14 or 12? And at that time, nobody had ever even heard of Ebola or ever conceived of something where you basically, people would disintegrate. And we're still working on Ebola. We're doing the vaccine. Excuse me.
Though, right?
Yeah, we're doing a vaccine. We're doing a lot of things having to do with Ebola. We're not forgetting about Ebola. That's a horrible thing. But we have that now very much under control, other than certain parts of the Congo where they're having war and we can't get in. So we're still working on that. But as far as what we're doing with the new virus, I think that we're doing a great job. I felt that, and the decision was made in Japan, let these Americans come back and we'll see where they are, but they were immediately put into quarantine. There's no problem with it whatsoever. They're all in quarantine. And as you know, I approved $2.5 billion for just that purpose and also for working and getting a vaccine.
For clarity, those with Ebola, when they were brought here, were quarantined, and all the Americans also survived,
I know,
right?
but the level of death with Ebola, at the time it was a virtual 100%.
But none of the Americans who came here.
There's a very good chance you're not going to die. It's just it's very much the opposite. You're talking about 1 or 2%, whereas in the other case it was a virtual 100%. Now they have it. They have studied it. They know very much. In fact, we're very close to a vaccine. Yeah, please, go ahead. Go ahead, Peter. Oh, all right.
Hi, I'm Swati Chandrasekhar from TV5 Network.
Good. Thank you.
So, how do you define, differentiate, and deal with the love of yours for Indians in India and Indians' love for H-1B visa in America? So, how do you differentiate this?
Yeah, we're talking about the H-1Bs, and we are. Look, the relationship we have, this is not from me, this is from almost everybody that saw it. They say in the history of India, which has a long history and a brilliant history in so many different ways, there's never been a reception given to somebody like was given, and I would like to say for the United States of America, but nobody else that came here got the kind of reception we got. It was 125,000, I think, seats they had yesterday. They were full. You had thousands and thousands of people outside. Prime Minister Modi was telling me thousands of people outside. That's not uncommon for me, to be honest with you, but when I look at 125,000 seats, and that was an incredible scene yesterday. In addition, all of those people lined up from the airport to the event. It was an incredible thing. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. The ambassador just told me that he's been in India for a long time. He's never seen, in fact, both ambassadors, our ambassador and the ambassador from India, said in 40 years he's never seen anything like it, what took place yesterday and, earlier than that. But yesterday, they've never seen anything like it. So it was a great compliment. It was a great compliment to our country. I'm the leader of the country, but it was a great compliment to our country. But Prime Minister Modi said today they've never, ever had any event like that. In fact, they said usually when somebody comes in, they have to look for people to fill up the areas. They said, there was something very special. Look, it's a massive country in terms of its population, and people just wanted to pay their respect to the United States, and so I appreciate it. I was a recipient in a sense, but I was just really representing the country. Yeah, Peter, go ahead.
Thank you. All right, thank you, Mr. President. Appreciate it.
Go ahead.
Mr. President, your newly installed personnel director has begun talking with agencies about finding people in the government that are not loyal to you and perhaps moving them on. How large a list do you imagine this will be? Is this a big problem in your mind? Can you describe for us the scale of the problem as you see it?
Yeah, I don't think it's a big problem. I don't think it's very many people. I think we had a whistleblower who was a fake, because if you look at the whistleblower as an example, if you look at his report and then you compare that to the transcripts, it bore no relationship. So that was a very sad situation and a lot of time wasted. Although, as you will admit, in fact, you wrote very nicely, I appreciate it, the poll numbers have gone up very much, but that's not appropriate to have to benefit by something like that. Then there was supposed to be a second whistleblower. As soon as I released the transcripts, the second whistleblower was gone. Nobody ever heard what happened to the second whistleblower. I'll ask you, where is he? Remember, he or she, the second whistleblower was going to happen. It was just a matter of moments. And then I released the real call, the transcripts, which are now 100% accurate, even according to Lieutenant Colonel Vindman. So, no, we want to have people that are good for the country, are loyal to our country, because that was a disgraceful situation. Please.
Mr. President, I am Akhilesh Suman. I am from Rajya Sabha Television. It's a parliamentary channel of India, upper house, like you've seen it.
Good.
India's concern is with neighborhood. And you and Prime Minister Modi tell that you are very good friends. What is your strategy about terrorism that is coming out from Pakistan to India? Because we have been suffering from this type of terrorism for the last 20 years or so. What is your strategy? What are you going to do?
We talked a lot about Pakistan. I have a very good relationship with Prime Minister Khan, very good. We talked about it today at length, actually, and Prime Minister Modi. And it's no question it's a problem, but it's a problem they're working on it. India is, it's a brave nation too. There's no pullback from India. And we just hope, and I said I'll help, I'll do whatever I have to do if I can do that, because my relationship with both gentlemen is so good. But there has been difficulty in Pakistan, and we're seeing what we can do about it. Anything I can do to mediate, anything I can do to help, I would do. They're working on Kashmir. Kashmir has been a thorn in a lot of people's sides for a long time. And there are two sides to every story, but they've been working on that very hard. We discussed it at great length, terrorism, and I think we have some very good ideas. He's very, very strongly against terrorism. I'll tell you, Prime Minister Modi is a very religious man, as you know. He's a very calm man, but he's actually a very, very strong person, very tough, actually. I've seen him in action, and he's got that foremost in his mind, terrorism. He'll take care of it. Please. Go ahead. You, right here. That's fine. Right there.
Mr. President, thank you. Backbenchers have been waiting
അമേരിക്കൻ
for
പ്രസിഡന്റ്
far too
ഡൊണാൾഡ്
long.
ട്രംപ് മാധ്യമപ്രവർത്തകരുടെ ചോദ്യങ്ങൾക്ക് മറുപടി പറയുകയായിരുന്നു. പൗരത്വ വിഷയം സംബന്ധിച്ച ട്രംപ് മോദി കൂടിക്കാഴ്ചയിൽ ആ വിഷയം സംസാരിച്ചില്ല. അതേസമയം മതസ്വാതന്ത്ര്യത്തെക്കുറിച്ച് സംസാരിച്ചതായും ട്രംപ് ചോദ്യത്തിന് മറുപടിയായി പറഞ്ഞു. ഇപ്പോഴും അദ്ദേഹം മാധ്യമപ്രവർത്തകരുടെ ചോദ്യങ്ങൾക്ക് മറുപടി പറയുകയാണ്. ഇടവേള.
OBC മതന്യൂനപക്ഷ വിഭാഗങ്ങൾക്കുള്ള മികച്ച വായ്പാ പദ്ധതികളുമായി കേരള സംസ്ഥാന
16 channels, 15 languages, 26 states, 1,200 plus reporters, 66.9 crore viewers. India's largest news network, News 18 Network. Sixteen channels, 15 languages, 26 states, 1,200 plus reporters, 66.9 crore.
ഡൊണാൾഡ് ട്രംപ് മാധ്യമപ്രവർത്തകരുടെ ചോദ്യങ്ങൾക്ക് മറുപടി പറയുകയാണ് തത്സമയ സംപ്രേഷണത്തിലേക്ക്.
He is very capable. The country is very capable, and it snuck up on him, but I think he's going to do well. Now you see it's going to South Korea, it's going to Italy, and it's going to other places. But I spoke to all of them. They're all working very, very hard on it. The United States, because of an early decision I made a decision. I believe it was the first time it's ever been done. We closed the country to certain areas, as you know. And I was criticized for that decision. Now they're saying it was a good decision. I think it was a good decision because we have very few people. And you can add to it a few people that we took in because they were Americans. I mean, what are we going to do? And they were almost in between countries where people weren't going to take them and they're Americans. But they're fully quarantined. They call it fully quarantined. So, we did the right thing. If you were out there, if you were an American and you refused to have any help from your country, these were wonderful people. It wasn't their fault. So, but we're really down to probably 10. Most of the people are outside of danger right now. But we've had a very strict line on the people that would take in the areas from which we take. And I did it very early. It's never done before, and I did it early. So I think it was a good decision as it turned out. Yeah, please.
അമേരിക്കൻ പ്രസിഡന്റ് ഡൊണാൾഡ് ട്രംപ് മാധ്യമങ്ങളുടെ ചോദ്യങ്ങൾക്ക് മറുപടി നൽകിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ്. വ്യാപാര കരാറിൽ ചർച്ചകൾ ഉടൻ തുടങ്ങുമെന്നും അദ്ദേഹം പറഞ്ഞു.